Oh, hey everybody. Sorry, I can't believe this thing just goes live without me actually pushing the button to go live. Anyhow, good to see everybody. Welcome to my photography shopping live stream where we come online together and look for deals. And I try to cherry pick a few, uh, you know, before the stream starts. And I did find two really good deals today, and and then a few other things I wanted to point out. The spring sales haven't seriously kicked in yet. Uh, there's a lot of camera gear like bodies and lenses on sale from the major manufacturers like Canon, Sony, Nikon, etc. And I'm sure you guys are all aware of those if you're shopping for those, more high ticket items. But you know, I try to focus more on the accessories for beginners so that you can get started expanding your photography and getting better photos, right? So we always look for the core things, tripods, camera bags, backpacks, and filters, and then other miscellaneous accessories that you always need, like the memory cards and uh, battery packs, power supplies, chargers. These are all things that you don't need to spend a lot of money on to really expand your photography 10 times over, right? Like a tripod will really expand your photography in a lot of different areas that you really can't do handheld, despite all the image stabilization hype, uh, you know, long exposures, macro photography, focus stacking and bracketing. These kind of things are always better with a tripod. Of course, my friend Chris McGinnis, who does a lot of macro photography, never uses a tripod, but that he's at another level, right? But anyhow, and also I like to answer any questions you might have. If you're looking for any particular type of gear, I can kind of give you my opinion, and we can try and find a good deal on that. And so without further ado, I see Robert's here. Good to see you, Robert, and Roger and Jeff. Good to see you guys. And Roger asks, are there any camera rumors around these days? I haven't seen anything major. Nothing comes to mind offhand. I look at the usual sites, 43 Rumors, Canon, Nikon, all those rumor sites for the same information that you guys have access to. So if it's not listed there, then I don't know. um, and if I do know, it's usually because I'm under some kind of NDA, right? Non-disclosure agreement. So, but I'm not under any right now. I can tell you that much. So, and I kind of lost privileges with OM Systems, I guess. I don't know. They don't reach out to me anymore for anything new coming out. I do get NDAs for other products, but, they're things you can wait until there's a sale, right? You don't have to buy right away. For example, the Pure Raw 6 is out, which is pretty awesome. It's a really good noise reduction and optical correction software that you can pre-process your raw images. I have my affiliate links down below for that, plus a coupon code for 15% off. I think that it really did make some very, very minor improvements in the noise reduction. It's just a little bit better. Um, in practice, do you need to upgrade to Pure Raw 6 right now? Probably not. You know, I, if you're using any of the older Pure Raws, I'd say from Pure Raw 3, uh, even 4, it depends on your workflow because they made a lot of workflow improvements, starting with Pure Raw 4 and 5. Uh, but if you're editing, if you're cleaning up noise one at a time, one image at a time, it doesn't matter. You can probably go back as far as Pure Raw 2 and get some pretty decent noise reduction there. But there's definitely been good improvements along the way. And I'd recommend Pure Raw 6 to anybody that's not using a DxO product right now. DxO Photolab 9, we're on 9.5 now, still is using the previous Pura XD2. The Pura 6 has the XD3. And like I said, it is a little bit better. A little bit better. And I would say Photolab probably won't get XD3 until they come out with Photolab 10. Sometime usually in the fall, October, November timeframe. But cameras and lenses and things, I think Canon came out with the tilt shift lens, but that's really a niche product and it's not really needed so much in my opinion. Okay, let's check the deals today. I did have a couple that I wanted to share. This one first is on eBay, and there's links down below to all of this stuff. And I am an affiliate for eBay, Amazon, B&H. So I'll earn a commission, which helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything more. So this is a V90 card. Okay, now this is priced closer to a V60 card because as you know, memory prices have gone up quite a bit. But this is a killer deal. If you look for this card on any other website, it's going to be $150. So like if I just right click on this, you can see buying directly from ProMaster, it's $150. From B&H, I'm sorry, that's not the right one. Service Photo, which is local to me, $150. And let's see, that's a 64 gig, but you get the idea. 128 V90 card, this one's 190. This also a ProMaster, but this is a little different. This is a high-end, or a rugged version. Kingston, one of my favorite brands. This is a V60 card. It's probably just as good in your camera, but some people need a V90. And if you can get a V90 for the same price as V60, why not get the V90? So that's why I wanted to point this out. And I looked at the reviews of this particular dealer, and everything seems legit. I don't see any issues with this. They got 55,000 reviews, but this looks like a really good deal. So there's a link down below to this. If not, I'll go ahead and just put one real quick into the chat section, just in case I forgot, which is not unusual. Oh, I can't fit it into the chat window, but anyhow, it should be down there. Okay. Another good deal I found was on B&H, and there's a link to that as well. It's on a think tank backpack. Now, B&H, they have this deal zone every day, and they feature items each day. And most of these are really good deals, but this was particularly good. The think tank retrospective, it's a 15-liter, so it's a little bit on the small side. It's not a tiny backpack. It's not a small backpack. 15 liters is, pretty good size. But it's perfect for Micro Four Thirds and smaller camera systems. And as you know, Think Tank makes, very high quality backpacks and sling bags and messenger bags. They've been doing this a long time. They know what they're doing, and this is a nice canvas. The black one is on sale, not this sort of olive color. But look how many dividers they give you. It's perfect for Micro Four Thirds, and it's $129.75. So that's a really good deal for a premium backpack. It's going to be, it's going to be well made, very durable. I have one of their messenger bags, and it's very durable. This is the kind of backpack or materials that you would use that'll last you 10 years plus, easy. And backpacks, you don't typically use these every day, so this will probably last you a lifetime. So I really like this. You know, they got some D-rings on the shoulder straps. These are always handy. And of course, a chest strap, which helps secure the thing. But yeah, very, very rugged. And I just love how many dividers they provide. Of course, you can take all the dividers out. But anyhow, great deal on this. You know, it's like more than half price off, like 60% off, it looks like, give or take. Okay, now let's go to my deal page. I wanted to point out a couple of things, and it's just robtrek.com/deals, and it'll take you to what I call my picks. So I did see some charging strips and power supplies on sale. Also, I wanted to point out that the Lumix G9 Mark II is on sale for, you know, $14.97. That's $400 off. That's a really good camera, really good deal. If you're in the Panasonic Lumix Micro Four Thirds system and you have an older camera, this is a great upgrade to any almost any other Micro Four Thirds camera from Lumix. This is by far a really big upgrade, because the previous one to this was the G9 Mark I, and you know, some people preferred the ergonomics of the Mark I, but you know, this is a little smaller and lighter, and certainly much more capable than the original G9. Okay. Also, the there's various power supplies here. This is one that I really like and I've been using. You can see I bought a couple of these, and I paid $127 for mine. This is a really good deal. I think when this came out, they were retailing it for like $200 or $250. So that's why I thought I got a good deal, because I was getting it almost half price. But now you can get it for $99, and it has you can hook this up to an app which will notify you on your phone or device, you know, when the charging's done. There's also like time and date, so it can be like a little desktop clock as well. But you have to hook it up through the app and Wi-Fi to get all of that. I don't use any of that, but uh, looks like you can show photos on there. Wow, it's crazy. So, like I said, I don't use any of that, but it is kind of neat if you want to get all fancy on your desktop. But I use it primarily for this display, so I can see the power output that's going to each device and what's charging and what's not. And it's 250 watts, so more than enough power to power your laptops and charge any device that you might have. Okay, and this Lenovo one, I just kind of picked this out. It's 20% off, which is a decent deal. But I just kind of like the design of this, you know, this clear case, so you can see what's going on inside. And then you have a really nice display here as well, with all the information you would need. And this is designed specifically to power laptops. So it has 140 watt PD output, also a 65 watt, and then a standard 30 watt USB-A port. Very good device here. I think, you know, if you want a kind of a fancy little charger, this is kind of a neat one to get. And then some standard things here. They have a 135 watt and a 200 watt version. And you know, these are good deals. They really help minimize the clutter in certain setups on your desktop. Because a lot of times, you know, you have stuff that just plugs into a standard outlet, but you also have your USB-C devices. So these are particularly good deals. So you can get them in two different versions. If you don't need too many ports, you can go this way. For, you know, a little more, you can kind of get the one with a lot of ports. And then, you know, this is one of my favorite bags. You know, $24 basically. A great little sling bag. Perfect, again, as an everyday bag. Durable enough. You know, this will last you a few years, no problem with regular use. And they did a really good job. You know, you have rubber sealed zippers, so it's going to be more weather resistance than other bags that have like just open exposed uh, zippers, and a nice, really nice buckle strap here. And I like how the front opens all the way. So you notice how the zipper goes all the way down to the bottom. So you can open this bag fully and expand it out. So it makes it easier to access your gear. Of course, just be careful not to overstuff things, right? But yeah, it holds a lot of stuff. And I love this divider design so you can stack lenses easily. Excuse me one second. Oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze. Uh, and they have various colors here within 50 cents of each other that you can get. Another bag that's uh, really on amazing deal here from Elano. There's an additional 20% coupon here that you can use. So this is going to be like, take another $4 off. So this would be like an $18 bag. But it's normally 40 some dollars, right? And you know, this is a little bit higher end bag than the one we just looked at. So I think for the same money, I would rather get this one, and it's a little bit bigger. Uh, you know, so it'll hold more stuff, and looks like a pretty decent design. I know the materials are probably fine, but let's see if we can find a decent. I guess this is it. But you know, you have a rear pocket here for. I like to put parking passes, parking permits, things like that in the back for easy access. Uh, you know, and other permits that you might need. It's always good to have these right in the back for easy access. And then multiple dividers inside, little battery slots there. So everything looks good. Everything looks good on this bag for basically $18. It's hard to beat. And this is a pretty good quality bag. And then this tripod, this is a great tripod from PhotoPro. This has the inverted ball head design, and so it has and you'll notice that the rotation on the x-axis is separate from, you know, it's above the ball head. So this makes this tripod really ideal for doing panoramas, particularly single row panoramas. Multi-row panoramas can be done as well. You just have to watch the leveling a little bit, but it makes for doing panoramas a lot easier. And I really like the inverted ball head design now, rather than the standard ball head design that you see, because I do like to do panoramas. And it's very, very small and lightweight. My friend that has a Sony A1 with her 300 2.8 uses this all the time. She loves the small, compact lightweightness of it. And yet it still gets up pretty tall, right? You know, with the center column extended. So, you know, for the best stability, you don't want to extend the center column, but if you need to raise it up a little higher, you know, for quick shots, it's perfectly fine. So it's what, 40 centimeters tall when it's all collapsed. I mean, it is really compact and it's very strong. Has a 10 kilo load weight, and it's carbon fiber, and it's 30 bucks off. PhotoPro doesn't go on sale too often. So this is really good. You know, like you can get the same one in gray, but it's 158. You might as well get the green one, right? It doesn't show in your photos, right? The color of the tripod. But yeah, I like this tripod a lot. Okay, and then for Canon RF shooters, you know, this is a really nice wide angle, fast 16 millimeter lens. It's rectilinear, you know, it's native. This is a good deal. This is priced kind of at the price it was before all the tariffs and all the price hikes and everything. So at 259, this is a great lens. I'm thinking about getting this actually for my Canon. I I got mixed feelings though, because I have other lenses that cover this range on my other formats, like, you know, my Micro Four Thirds. And then I know some people had been asking about this. I talked about it briefly in my last stream on Sunday, but this has been great. What this allows me to do is basically attach my remote trigger like I was using it on I was using it on my OM1 earlier. But I can put my remote trigger on one side, and this is a Canon version, but it works with OM systems. The pinouts are exactly the same. So you mount that on. Now, the remote trigger doesn't need the TTL. It's also TTL compatible, right? It doesn't need the TTL part. I just need someplace to put this rather than, you know, it just dangling off the side of the camera. Because a lot of times I like to use remote trigger. And again, I have full TTL compatibility when I have my Godox trigger here all hooked up. And this just makes for a much nicer workflow. And the other thing I like to do is actually, and again, you can buy the OM system or the Canon version of this riser, but I like to put this in like this, and then put the trigger on that. Because the riser allows me to tilt it back like this, so I can see very easily all my settings without in a stand-up, because a lot of times my camera's on a tripod. So I really like this. Now I did try to put 2 flashes on here, and it doesn't work. Like if I wanted to fire 2 flashes TTL, 2 flashes manual mode seemed to work, but 2 flashes in TTL mode did not work. But a single flash, like, or single trigger, TTL mode, and then having this, so it's just sort of a flash bracket. You can hold multiple flashes, but it has TTL compatibility one at a time. Now I haven't tried this on my Canon. It might work on Canon dual TTL, but I can't speak to that. I bought it primarily for the functionality, you know, and the workflow. It's just so much nicer to have this up here and this over here, and not have to just have this dangling around, because a lot of times I'm moving the tripod around and this is swinging around. It just makes things much nicer, because what I had before is I had this giant cage that I had wrapped around the camera, and then I would attach all the accessories that way. But a lot of times all I needed was just a trigger and flash trigger and shutter trigger. That's all I needed most of the time. I didn't need to attach all the other things that I do sometimes on a cage. So there's that. It's not on sale, but it's because it's a very functional item. This, whoops, it's not on sale, but because it's so functional, I wanted to include this on my pick page because it's very, very useful. Like a lot of things on this page are really good picks, really very practical. Here's a really good ND1000 filter. We talked about these last week. I won't go back into this, but these filters are still on sale. You get a CPL and a variable ND for 20 bucks with a case and a microfiber. Nice little softbox. This is handy for macro photography. So you don't have to spend, you know, $100, $200 on a high-end diffuser. You can use this and get pretty similar results. And this is still a really good deal. Now, once these are gone, you're not going to get 128 gig card for $12 ever, you know, probably not for the rest of the years from what I hear. So if you need a 128 gig card, this is a V30, so it'll do 4K video, but it's not a super fast card like a UHS-2 V60 V90 that I showed earlier. This is for just everyday photography, right? So to give you some perspective, you know, if I were doing pro capture or, you know, SH2, high-speed continuous shutter at, say, 50 frames per second. The buffer goes on my camera to 90, I think 92 images. It takes 45 seconds to clear those 92 images out of the buffer with this card, with a V30 card. A V60 and V90, they both clear in about 15 seconds. So in camera, V60, V90, they perform about the same. The difference is when you take them out of the camera and you put them in your computer, you'll see some minor differences between a V60 and V90 card. But a V30 card, you know, if you're not mashing your shutter button all the time in Pro Capture and SH2, if you're just doing street photography, landscape, portraits, you know, there's no need to spend $60, $100 for a V60, V90 card. You can just get one of these. So this is a great memory card. And I bought the V60 version of this when it was available, but it's no longer available. But I got that for $36. But it's not available anymore. So hopefully some of you jumped on that when it was there. But I guarantee when these are gone, because, you know, like their 64 gig is $15. You know, right now, once these are gone, they're gone. And then here's some other memory cards. You know, there's a V60 here and a V30. You can see it. This is a really good deal for a V60 256. You know, $58. We're just not going to see, you know, you're going to pay double that for any other brand. And this particular brand has been on Amazon a long time and has a lot of reviews. So I suspect that, you know, I haven't bought this card myself, but I suspect it's a very good, reliable card. And nothing else really new down in here. This is all the same things I've been talking about, you know, all month for the last 3-4 weeks at least. You know, these are all really good deals on tripods and cameras and batteries. This backpack, great deal. The Wandereds are on sale. OM5 grip for the Mark 1 and the EM5 Mark 3. Great little grip. Half case, genuine leather for the OM5. These lenses are still on sale. These are 25mm 0.95s. These are a lot of fun to use. And some other 7 Artisan lenses here. Let's see. And that's about it, really, as far as what I could find this week that I thought were pretty decent. And you know, aside from some camera deals from Canon and Nikon and stuff. But I won't get into that. So let me go back to the chat section. That's the majority of what I wanted to share today as far as deals goes. So definitely pick up some memory cards while they're cheap, because those are exceptionally cheap, especially that one on eBay for the ProMaster. I have some ProMaster V60 cards. They work great, you know. And I gave one away because they were, at the time, they were only like $25, $30. But now they're $65 if you buy it today, or $150 if you want to buy it, you know, from another site, because that's why I wanted to point that one out. Trying to think, was there anything else? There's always something. I know some filter. I haven't had a chance to play with that ND 10,000 filter, but there's a couple of small flashes on sale, but they're not particularly good deals. I think the memory card, that lightweight tripod, and that backpack from Think Tank on B&H, those are my 3 top picks today. And then, of course, on the higher end, the G9 Mark II and all the power strips and things. And let's see, Roger asks, are there any good deals on Hunt's Photo? Well, we can take a look. Hunt's Photo is kind of a local to, I think, Roger, but they do ship, you know, continental US, I believe. I don't know if they ship overseas. But let me see. The low pro BP, this backpack goes on sale all the time. Uh, $48 for 128 V60. That's a good deal. That's even better deal than the one I just showed you. Let's see what this is going for everywhere else, because that's a particularly good deal. Hmm. 69. Yeah, that's the one I just showed you guys. Wow, this is a V60 card. That's a good deal too. Let me go back to Hunt's. 128 for $48. I'd rather get this ProMaster. This is a 128 V60. Just depends on the dealer. So you're going to pay $6 for shipping. This one looks pretty decent. I'm going to add this. I might pick up one of these. This is the exact ProMaster card that I own. I paid $25 or $26 for it. But that was, like a year ago. Now at 35 plus $6 shipping, and it's going to be $41. That's still a good deal. But let's go back to Hunt's. Yeah, I would pass on this because the ProMaster is a better deal. X-Half camera, I don't know. I wouldn't get that. The 150, this is not too dissimilar from the Think Tank, but it doesn't hold as much stuff. It's the same size probably, about a 15-liter bag. I'm just basing that off the 150LX number here. But you can see the bottom compartment is made for the cameras, but then the top compartment is just kind of open. So this is kind of a hybrid bag for carrying a couple, like a couple of lenses and camera, and then a bunch of other stuff. So I don't recommend this bag. Based on the front page here, I don't see anything that I would buy. And then of course, all the other stuff is going to be, let's see, 20% off a Nissi, 20% off this rail. It's okay. These kind of things you can wait till they're a particularly good deal. These are a good deal. If you need one now, just go ahead and get it, right? 20% off. But I don't think if you're only thinking about getting these kind of things, you can wait till there's a better price. Let's see. This is a decent flash. $55 or 50, but that's kind of the going price. And the carbon fiber Surae, yep, that's kind of the going price for this one, except this has the fluid head, so I guess this is a particularly good deal. Most of us don't need a fluid head though. Most of my viewers are into photography. And let's see, a Delkin 256 Type B. That's fair. I never cared for this. I've been offered to review this, but I declined it. I just didn't see the appeal. I would avoid this tripod, this Benro. Benro normally makes really good tripods, but the problem is the joint between the ball head and this center column is plastic. And if you over tighten things a little bit, and it's not hard to do with plastic pieces, it strips the thread and you can't tighten the ball head onto the center column. It doesn't fall off or come apart or anything, but you can't get any kind of rigidity or tightening in the ball head. So this has kind of a failure point right in here. Let's see, a 128, these are okay. You're paying a little bit of a brand tax with Lexar, right? But yeah, I think there's better deals from Per Gear and Angel Bird for this kind of stuff. Let's see. This is not bad. This is the same size, right? I assume a 15 liter, just a little different style where it opens from the front of the bag instead of from the back. So if you prefer your bag to open from the front, this is not a bad deal. And let's see, carbon fiber gimbal. This works pretty well, but it's just very bulky. I like the small gimbal that I have on mine. I prefer that much more over these L-shaped gimbals. Now the L-shaped gimbals are certainly more fluid and a little bit easier workflow, but the trade-off is it's very bulky. So I prefer the smaller gimbals like I've showed before. Sirui ball head, let's pass. OM3 Astro, definitely pass on that. This is the only Micro Four Thirds camera I will not recommend. It has the hydrogen notch filter in the infrared filter or whatever, which will give you better astrophotography photos. By design, you will get much better photos. It lets in like 4 times as much light or something for astrophotography because like 99% of the universe is made out of hydrogen. So having a notch filter for hydrogen, allows a lot more hydrogen light to come in. So that's kind of the gist of it. The problem with the OM3, and like I said, I don't know if they made any changes, but there's two problems. One is you can't set the shutter speed for longer than 60 seconds. That's number one. If they can bypass that to say 3 to 5 minutes, that would be a big step because then you could use the internal intervalometer and put it onto a rotator and you can do some deep sky astrophotography. This camera is primarily for wide field astrophotography like Milky Way, auroras, things like that. Single shot or, it's not ideal for deep sky. So that's the first problem is the shutter speed doesn't go over 60 seconds. The second problem is there's no way to connect this camera to an intervalometer, an external intervalometer. So again, it really minimizes its use to just wide field and not deep sky. And even in some wide field photography, you want to use longer than 60-second intervalometer. So and if the other problem is you cannot use this camera for really anything but astro. It doesn't work well in regular daylight. You get weird colors. So you're just paying a lot of money for a bunch of things you'll never use in this camera. Like you're never going to use SH2 or Pro Capture or focus stacking or any of those things in this camera for astrophotography. There's just a ton of features this camera has that are just going to be, wasted. So I don't see the practical reason for buying such a camera that's so capable, but then limited to just astro. Okay, wow, they got a lot of stuff on this page. We've kind of went through these. There's some new lenses, some retro stuff. ProMaster Chronicle Carbon, I passed. That's too much. One fit, no, nope, nope. These you can buy for 20 bucks. They're just plastic. You know, Nisi filters, 20% off Nisi filters. If you want to, you're paying a little bit of a brand tax, but they are very high quality. That's a good deal. This this is good for kids, but I wouldn't buy one myself. Let's see, 79. Nope. I mean, just off this page here, I don't see particularly anything that I would jump on. Like I said, avoid that and avoid this. Nisi offered to send me this whole filter set. I turned it down. It's just so expensive. You know, I just can't recommend these high-end filters. Unless you're really doing high-end professional work, why spend so much money when a cheap filter really does most of the work anyway? All right. So Hunt's photo. I didn't see anything I would jump on right now. Let me just go back one more time and look. Yeah. So if all these deals, if any of these deals appeal to you, go for it. But I would definitely avoid this. This bag is always on sale. And everything else, this is not terribly practical for photography. I would avoid this bag. And then everything else you have to decide for yourself. I don't see the point of this. So nothing on their front page, right? And then of course, you know, you have you know, a lot of new stuff from Tamron and stuff, but I'm not into those things. Okay. Any other questions? Let's see. Henning's here. Good to see you, Henning. And I love the collapsing stool for doing macros. Save your knees and back. Yes, I keep one in my car. I bought it back last year on Black Friday. I think I paid $15 for mine. And John Follows is here. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I will leave it open to anything you guys want to talk about at this point, because I am there wasn't a ton. There was just a couple of items that I thought were particularly a good deal. So any other questions or comments? Anything you guys want to talk about? Otherwise, we can make this a short stream today if you want. I'm going out today with a friend. I might do some Insta360 photos. I've been messing around with this thing. Actually, I have some video footage from this that shows me working with that flash bracket thing I was showing you. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I do like this flash bracket thing I got. I was trying to do this. I set the Insta360 up on my bird feeder, and I think I got this guy flying off right at the end. And if I play it back in slow motion, so I ran into a problem though. is I'm at 240 frames per second, but that wasn't fast enough to give me a clear shot of this is a little junco flying off. But it's been dead at my bird feeder for some reason. I don't know why. Let me see, where's the footage? Here's some footage of me and Ellie going around. I was doing some photos of her. But you can see I'm using the flash bracket with the remote trigger. That's not a good example because I'm hand holding. I don't need the remote trigger. But let's see. Yeah, and here. So here's me using it. I'm trying to make a video. Let's see. But I just love being able to tilt this up and get to the touch screen and see it very easily. And then this remote trigger is just here instead of hanging off the side. But yeah, I love this little flash bracket. It works great. Oh, Rob is here. How are you, Rob? Heading to Japan tomorrow. OM3 and 14 to 150 and 17 is all I need. Yep. That about sums it up. So you got your zoom lens to handle whatever, and then a 17 for low light, indoor type photography, right? That's a great setup. I forgot you bought an OM3. I heard you did a thingamajig for it, like a best settings for it. So I got to check that out. So Rob has a YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know, you can check out his channel. He has a lot of great content, and I just love his humor. I love his humor. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else I can show. Not really. This boring stuff here. Yep, that's it. So, all right, guys. I don't see any other questions, and we'll keep it short and sweet today. So thank you so much for joining me today. Again, if you'd like to support the channel, use the affiliate links down below. If not today, tomorrow, just click on the link. There's usually a very short window that the cookies work. And we will catch you guys again. 25 years since On a Plane. Yeah, me too, Robert. It's been, I think, 1999. No, 1990. I don't know. I think 1999 was the last time I was on a plane. So it's been, you and I are the same on that. But anyway, you guys have a great day, a great week. Try to do that every day. You have a good life, right? And eat healthy and exercise. Go out and take some photos, and I hope to see you guys all again soon.